Hello everyone, welcome back to our infographic series. Now we're going to learn how to insert charts and data. So now up here you can see that I have some statistics based off of the percentage of American adults that have cavities or tooth decay in their teeth. So this is going to be really important because Professor J would like for you to have specific statistical data and charts to show and describe it. Now, Canva has a few different type of charts and data. Here, they're a type of element. So remember how I said they have different elements? Here under charts, you can see all the different ways that you can describe your data. Depending on which data that you have, it makes more sense to have a bar chart or a histogram, a line chart, pie charts, or donut charts. Now, for the first one I did a free donut chart, just click and drag. Now it's going to show you items. This shows you up to multiple items that you can have, or you can say units categories. So for example, if you had food and let's say 50% of your data agrees with food, it automatically changes the results to symbolize 50% of food in a 100% data chart. Now, for my data, I have adults. Only three different categories. I have white non-Hispanics, black non-Hispanics, and Mexican Americans. This data set is a little bit outdated and that have the best politically names. However, it's just a sample. So if I were to put white non-Hispanic, it's going to update it as a category name. Hispanic. Here we go. So it's off the chart, off the document, but you can still see it. The data suggests that we had, I believe it was, let's see. We had tooth decay in adult teeth. It was 20.84. So we're going to put 20.84. Again, and it automatically changes. So for then we had black non-Hispanics, and this was to be 40.45, but I'm going to check my data to be exact. Yes. And then we have Mexican American, which was 38.35%. There we go. So now we have a real accurate data set of black, non-Hispanic, and Mexican Americans of how many people that do have permanent tooth decay. You can edit this chart in a few different ways. Here where it says edit, you can hit edit and it will allow you to edit specifically the names. You can also paste from a spreadsheet. So if you get your data from Excel, if the CDC or whatever website you're using has a data set, you can copy and paste and the same information will populate. Or if you don't like the look of a donut chart per se, you won't have to rewrite your data and you just turn it into a pie chart. You can even try to do a bar chart. Whatever information, however you want to creatively show your information works. I specifically like a donut chart because it looks simplistic and you can see out of the whole how many of these specific categories have permanent tooth decay. You can also change the size of the data. So let's say 16. You always want to make sure that the viewer can read. So try to make sure that you always have the typography at least 12.5 or higher. Then you can also change the color. So right here is document colors. And Canva is really smart. They noticed all the colors that are specifically in this infographic and populate right here. This is a cool way to understand your color palette. I'm trying to keep my color palette more whites, light blues, and a little bit of greens. So if we want the subtitles to have this blue color, it will work and it's the same exact color for all the other blues in the data set. But I think that a dark gray color is dark enough to be seen, but not too distracting. You can also bold your data so that way it pops up and it can be really seen easily. So I'm going to put this right here to the side, make sure that it can still be seen, make sure it's 11.5, we have to make sure it's bigger, and then adjust accordingly. Just click and drag, and then My lines can tell me exactly where it is in the data set, where it is. We can adjust this layout later, but here it is, the really key information. Another type of chart that I used was a line chart. So in the data, it showed children that had cavities, children under the age of 11. Well, they had cavities or teeth decay, and this shows segments the data. So if we had different segments to compare, and it also gives us different items. Now I'm going to input this data in, and I will organize it a little bit later. So children is 225, and then children ages 6 to 11, and literally just backspace to get rid of all of these items, and Canva will automatically change the data set to represent the numbers that you're using. Now in the data set that I had, it was approximately 0.17 and 0.41, and this was, let me go back to the data, and children it was 0.7, and then 0.58, 0.58 before 0.47, and this was 1.26. 1.26. And see, it automatically populates your information, and you can adjust it in various ways. You can drag it up, you can drag it to the side, and you can overall make the whole, keep all the proportions, but just make it smaller. And then layout however you need to. Similar idea applies for this type of chart as well, so you can change the font colors, bold them so that way people can see the data, and also change the colors of the blues in this series. I want to make sure the blues are a little bit more applicable to the colors that we have. So let's make this a lighter blue, and let's keep the purple. I think that looks good. Now this is just ways that you can insert charts into Canva. There are a few other different charts that you can have, and remember you can insert from a spreadsheet. But I think this was really helpful to get a nice aesthetic design and have data in Canva. In the next one, we're going to learn how to insert pictures and vectors, so that way you can have, in case you don't have a toothbrush picture, or in case you want to just have a real life image of a person.